Our justice was our battle, and our justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you.
Last year, 12,000 children in Florida were not given equal access to civil citation diversionary programs, but were instead arrested. These 12,000 children are now branded for life with criminal records. They all committed first-time, non-serious offenses. I want you to think back to your childhood. If I named something that you did when you were under 18, please stand up and stay standing. Did anyone ever go into a neighbor's yard to retrieve a ball or a pet? If so, please stand. Nowadays, that's called trespassing. Anyone ever steal a keychain, a candy bar, or anything else from a store? Please stand up. Ever drink alcohol before the age of 18? Please stand up. Ever get into a fight in the schoolyard? Please stand up. I don't see too many people sitting down. In 2014, a 7-year-old from Volusia County was arrested for bringing a pencil sharpener to school. It was considered a weapon. Now, she will find it difficult to get jobs, college scholarships, or even to get into the military. She could have received a civil citation. If our state bill would have passed this year, law enforcement would have been obligated to give her one. A civil citation is a diversion tool designed to keep minors who commit small infractions from being arrested. Right now, we are spending $5,000 to arrest children for misdemeanors, while we could be diverting them, and that costs $450. Plus, recidivism for civil citations, 4%. Detention, 41%. Expanding the use of civil citations to our local and state work is the right thing to do. We have done amazing work to increase civil citations in Volusia County. Since our action in 2014, over 100 more children in Volusia County have been diverted from arrest because they were issued a civil citation. But the need for a state bill that makes civil citations the default for every law enforcement department is still needed. The good news is that despite fierce opposition from law enforcement, our bill passed all but one committee it was assigned to. Many state legislators were heroes who stood up to law enforcement and special interest groups. They told them that it is unconscionable that we are arresting children for these minor offenses. But in the end, the law enforcement lobbyists won. Our bill was postponed in its last committee meeting and therefore was not able to get a full vote. It has fallen victim to a bureaucratic system that is controlled by a few legislators and influenced by big money lobbyists. This is not how our democratic process is supposed to work. No wonder people are disgruntled with our current political system. In local elections in Florida, voter turnout is at an all-time low. Many officials accuse the public of being apathetic. But this year, over 15,000 grassroots people came to assemblies across our state to show support for this bill. Do you call that apathetic? We refuse to live in a community that criminalizes our children for making childish mistakes. We are committed to dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline. When we work together, great things happen. Tonight, we are issuing a message that is loud and clear to law enforcement that has opposed our bill. You still have total discretion. We will be watching you. Some have said that if we legally mandate equal access to civil citations, that some officers will find other reasons to arrest children by charging them with felonies instead of misdemeanors, just to be able to make an arrest. They are accusing law enforcement of wanting so desperately to arrest children that they're willing to lie or trump up charges just to make the arrest. We have much more faith in the men and women that protect our community than they do. There also seems to be some confusion about who makes laws in our state. I know that the Constitution says it's the legislature that makes the laws, and they are elected officials in Tallahassee. They're writing the laws, and the sheriffs and police chiefs are there to protect our communities, are enforcing the laws, not writing them. We have 3 of our elected officials here with us tonight that have stepped up to the plate as allies in the fight for equal access to civil citations.
While in elected office, will you continue to advocate that all children in Florida get equal access to civil citations by supporting state laws that make civil citations mandatory for all first-time, non-violent, misdemeanor offenses? Please stand, gentlemen.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Thank you, Faith, for doing what you do. Not only will I support it, or I did support it, I was asked by Faith to carry the actual bill, and I would have carried that bill. And I've tried to fight with each particular chairman of that committee to get that bill heard.
Office, and they said, we want to go after mandatory. And I said, well, let's go for it. Who's running the bill? And at that time, they told me it was Representative Trujillo was the bill sponsor. And those that were in my office, some of them I see them here, I immediately picked up my phone. I called Representative Trujillo, though he did not answer. I sent him a text saying, I'm going to be a co-sponsor on this bill. And I wouldn't be here in front of you today. I did my share of mischief as a juvenile, I can tell you that. And I guess I was one of the lucky ones that came across law enforcement officers that gave me a break, and I had some daddy justice at home, with a little bit of, how that goes. So I'm thankful, and I believe in the process that you all are doing here today, and don't give up, continue this effort.
We are the only legislative delegation in the state of Florida that every single member who is wholly within Volusia County has co-sponsored this bill. And it's because of the efforts of the faith community of educating us so we understand the bill and totally support the bill.
Let's thank them again for their commitment to our children in Volusia County and in the state of Florida. Faith? Oh, you can do better than that. Faith? Thank you.
In 2014, I was released from being incarcerated, Florida Department of Corrections. Upon my release, I was given $50 and a bus ticket. I didn't have a home to go to. On top of that, I am a recovering drug addict. The $50 and the bus ticket was a recipe for failure, disaster. I had no choice but to return to the same environment that had me fostered and perpetuated my addiction. What I needed was a safe place that would provide the necessary services to help me get my life back on track. I know so many men and women today are given the same recipe for failure. I am grieved and tired of politicians playing ping pong with the lives of my brothers and sisters. Had a place like Volusia Safe Harbor had been in place when I was released, it would have helped make my transition a lot easier, no doubt. We need Volusia Safe Harbor.
The Volusia Safe Harbor that F.A.I.T.H supports is a 24/7 come-as-you-are homeless assistance center where people in crisis can get back on their feet by being connected to any services that they need through mass reality.
F.A.I.T.H is advocating for a countywide homeless assistance center that shelters homeless people in emergency situations, with the end goal being to reconnect people to their communities and to permanent housing opportunities.
We are honored to have the opportunity to be a part of this project. We believe very much in the dignity and respect that's afforded each individual. From a Catholic charity standpoint, we believe it's absolutely critical that this project is based on collaboration and partnership. We believe that we can certainly do all that is necessary to pull the partners together in this community.
Will you advocate for and vote for Daytona Beach to fund at least $400,000 a year for 5 years, starting in 2016-2017 budget toward this project? First, Daytona Beach Mayor Henry.
Yes.
Daytona Beach Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Trader.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Will you continue your commitment to take ownership of the facility? Mayor Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
No.
Let me be clear. Let's ask your name first. Commissioner Trader, your answer is?
No, because
We will have a response at the end. Thank you. Commissioner White?
Yes.
And Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Will you advocate for and vote for funding up to $59,057 for your city in the 2016-2017 budget toward this project?
Yes.
Will you advocate for and vote for funding up to $12,291 from your city in the 2016-2017 budget toward this project?
yes.
All right. Will you advocate for and vote for funding up to $132,451 from your city in the 2016-2017 budget?
I did do my homework and I read the question, and the answer is no.
The answer is no. Will you advocate for and vote for funding up to $132,451 from your city?
No.
Will you continue to advocate for the county's promise to donate land and up to $4 million for capital expenses?
Yes.
Will you advocate for and vote for the county to fund $400,000 a year for at least 5 years, starting in the 2016-17 budget, toward operating this countywide homeless assistance center?
Yes.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Before we move on, I'd like to point out that County Council members Patterson, Denise, and Chair Davis chose not to be here this evening. Councilmember Wagner, Husak, had a scheduling conflict, but provided their answers in writing, and both said yes to each.
The question you said no to, it was pretty much what you just said you were going to do. We know we can't ask you to deliver your city. We know you're only one vote. But what we're asking you is, will you commit to advocate for this and vote for it if it comes up?
I've given my answer. I gave my answer in a 2-minute dissertation as quickly as I could.
Yeah, but we have to have yes to put your yes over there.
If Daytona Beach had not stepped up, if the county had not stepped up, my answer would have been I would not advocate for it because we did not have the leadership.
Right.
And that's the way I feel. You cannot operate anything, whether it's a baseball team, football team, a city government, or anything without leaders. And we had no leadership. And that's why I was going to be against it, and that's why I was going to say we have to have it. Fortunately, we have people stepping up and offering to lead.
So all you have to do is say yes.
We have... No, I'm going to say the answer that I gave. The answer that I gave in my 2 minutes is the answer I'm going to stick by.
Thank you.
Advocate for the support from our city to support Safe Harbor becoming a reality. And that's what I'm going to do, and to support it financially to the level that we can.
Thank all of you for coming here this evening. I find it troubling that I am the only county council member here this evening. I hope that is not the case. What I want to say is this, I don't want to quibble over the shelter. You know, there's been quibbles here and there. I don't want to quibble over it. But $4 million for a shelter, fine. $400,000 for operations, fine. Actually, you're letting us off too easy. This is a county problem. The county ought to be taking responsibility for it. It really should. You're asking these cities that don't have the resources that we have to contribute money. I'm glad that they are. I'm glad that you're asking them. But really, this is a county problem. This is something we should be taking control over. And it is a problem that is much likely to get worse before it gets better.
If a small city like Daytona Beach is willing to do what they have committed to do tonight, and Volusia County Council really is committed to donate the land and $4 million, even $400,000 a year operating, what is the excuse for not moving forward? We are presenting a compromise in which our organization gains nothing. Our recommendation on location and size of the shelter come after 5 years of research and meetings with every single social service provider and local experts, not to mention on-site visits to successful shelters. We went through an authentic process to come up with our results. No one dare say again, no one supports Volusia Safe Harbor. I can't think of another time in my 20 years as a pastor in Daytona Beach where I have seen such a public outcry. I have never seen so many rallying around the same problem, yet alone around the same solution. Give yourselves a round of applause for yet again turnout of over 1,000. Faith moves mountains.
There will be meetings coming up when we will need to be there to support the changes we've asked for the elected officials who advocate for those changes. Let us not go back to our homes and let our passion die. We must be ready when the time is right to come together again as a sign of support to show how serious we are about living out our values.
Our Lord, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, the most merciful, the all-knower, and the all-just. Help us solve our problems and inspire us to come up with the right solutions. Keep this community united. Help the people who suffer homelessness and hunger, and be with those who are neglected and abandoned. We are called to listen to the commands, to love, and do justice. Our gathering this day reminds us of our responsibility to work with one another, to remake our world into a more hopeful place of peace. We are inspired and guided to hear the cry of the poor and oppressed and to respond. We know that alone we are limited in what we can do, but together we are powerful. Our strength comes from unity, rather
assembly is now adjourned. Thank you so much.